Hello there, everybody. This is Joe Kashtaria, and welcome to another episode of the Crossover Battles. So we are going in from the most significant evil villains of all time, and got to be one appearances to the villain, and versus another one, and this is got to be real double of these evil villains as the worst persons. So, getting into this, it's from the 1983 fantasy novel Monogatari is Yasunori Kato versus 2018 from the last animated film is the Asterisk Secret of the Magic Potion is Sulfurix, also known as Demonix in English dub and also Pyrtrix in Finnish dub as well. So, taking off is Yasunori Kato, first created in 1983 of the novel Monogatari, and including some adaptation films as Tokyo the Last Megalopolis, Last War, and the 4 parts of OVA of the animated series, The Doom Megalopolis. He wears a Japanese military uniform with a cape and white gloves adorned with a 5-pointed star, the seaman, the symbol of the great Onmyoji Seimei, the ape. He is descendant of the Ainu people, the native tribes who inhabited the Japanese islands prior the coming of the Yamato court. Kato is an incarnation of their curse against the Japanese Empire, the Yamato people, for having driven them from their land and destroyed their culture in ancient times. With his powers as an Amnoji, Kato sought to resurrect the guardian spirit of Tokyo in Taira no Masako, which had been a slumber for millennia. Supposedly, Masakato's awakening would turn him into a ferocious spirit of revenge and bring about destruction of Tokyo and the entire Japanese Empire. Kato is a supernatural Melmoth the Wanderer style figure with a mysterious past, a descendant of the indigenous tribes who inhabited the Japanese islands. Prior coming for the Yamato people, he is described as a Oni, a literal incarnation of their 2,000-year curse against the Japanese Empire. As his opponent Yasumasa Hirai, the official descendant of Abi no Seimei, the leader of the true Inmyoji who served the Japanese Emperor. Explanation. While this gives about stories, how did he rule down the world? In the 19th century, he influenced the Imperial Japanese Army. Under the gist of the Japanese soldier gains a positive reputation and rises to the rank as the first lieutenant. Into the Monogatari, he reveals his true intentions to destroy Tokyo through any means possible in order to cripple the Japanese Empire and avenge his ancestors. He joins forces with the underground with Chinese and Korean and anti-Japanese operation groups such as the Dongsan Peasant Revolution, and continues to work behind the scenes of various periods of 20th century history to cause supernatural disasters, which will weaken Japan. His first goal is to awaken the sleeping of Taira no Masakato to help him cripple the city. As in the Doom Megalopolis OVA, Kato started by torment an innocent woman, Yukari Tatsumiya, and curses her into becoming his instrument for awakening Masakato. Despite the efforts of the Onmyoji Hirai, Kato takes Yukari, uses her as a medium for resurrecting a slumbering spirit. Masakato briefly awakens only to refuse Kato's desire for destruction of Tokyo. However, one of the spells Kato has cast on Yukari on the magic of Yin, an impregnation spell, gazing into the future, Kato determines Yukari will become the pregnant with what he believes to be his child, who will be such a more suitable medium for Masakato's spirit after Kato disappears for 10 years. And when he returns, he comes to Yukari's daughter, Yukiko, attempted to use her as a weasel Masakato's resurrected spirits. This attempt fails as Yukiko also proves to be an unsuitable medium, as she is really to be a child of an incestuous union between Yukari and her brother Yoichiro, and Masakato violently attacks Kato for disturbing him. Sulfurix is created in 2018 from the one French animated series is the Asterix Secret of the Magic Potion from that was made before, in which he's voiced by the Demonix in French, and he's also dubbed into an English by Michael Shepard. Demonix also concludes that Sulfurix was once a successful druid that was outclassed by Getafix and began abusing his newfound power of controlling fire for his own selfish desire, resulting in him being banished from the Council of Druids and living in exile till many years he found out that Getafix was searching for a successor by one of his missing boars. Sulfurix attended the council meeting ignoring his banishment and offered himself as a Getafix successor. When he refused, Demonix tried to attack him, but was stopped by the Asterix, realizing he couldn't use his petrifying spell on him. As it's only working on people with a weak will, he fled, causing a note with the names of possible successors to get out of the order, while he himself took the name of the best, such as Sulfurix. During his escape, he noticed how his spell could still affect Obelix. Sulfurix then went to write Julius Caesar and offered him to respond for him the ownership of the Druid's forest. He later met with Sulfurix and taught him a recipe to create the potion over the butterflies made of light. This effect impressed the Getafix as just like ozone powder that had been dismissed by the council back when he and Sulfurix had their final exam. It's beautiful, but without purpose, Getafix and Sulfurix as his successor. Meanwhile, Sulfurix accidentally set the forest of the Druids on fire when his anger caused his cloak to catch fire, and the Roman senator Tancred accidentally threw it into the forest. Sulfurix dismissed the senator's concern about doing something against the forest fire and started laughing at the sight of the forest of his former college's burning. Later, Getafix, also being horrified by the burnt forest, told the Sulfurix to recite. However, when he realized that the Sulfurix was lacking respect for traditions, as he refused to build a stone pyramid after accidentally making it fall apart, he lies to Sulfurix about having it told everything. He worrying that he Gauls in the village have no more potion to fight against the Romans. Sulfurix and others raced back to take over the village, with the Getafix gathering ingredients for his potion to bag with the ingredients, with then taken by Sulfurix, who also used his spell to petrify Obelix. When Getafix rushed into the village to make a new potion with the ingredients in his cottage, Sulfurix convinced Sulfurix to make a magic potion to save the village. Sulfurix mixes the potion, but Sulfurix realizes that Getafix didn't trust him completely, and didn't tell him the secret ingredient when the young Gaul pushed him away. Sulfurix inflamed powder spell in the potion, drinking it, and Sulfurix gained the ability to throw fireballs and eventually became the magma-like monster. With his new powers, Sulfurix fired at the village, which inclusive to the Romans, causing them to all flee. He then confronted Getafix, taunting him about to no real druid anymore, as he always made the one potion and couldn't do anything as elsewhere the possible about Demonix, then to recite for the magic potion, but Getafix refused to, telling him he would rather die than telling it to Demonix, as just Sulfurix is about to kill Getafix, but he was hit by Obelix as the Asterix and Obelix came to rescue him. And this was huge for this point for next times, and sometimes this terrible for this a time for most scariest ideas. Sulfurix turned himself into a huge giant-like creature as a magma, and Getafix has a plan idea that he's about to stop the Sulfurix from destroying the village with the Romans after they cannot even team up together. And this was turning to a centaur robot to flying up in space until bumping to an asteroid falling back to the Earth right to the pirate ship. And the battle is about to go ahead for most significant, and few hours for being under the many, and the winner is going to be Yasunori Kato. carries the moments for his appearances of the enemy OVA. Kato could possess more of his scariest attentions of his appearance of novel of Tate Monogatari. He is very sequenced to possess his immortality, and no others that he could take down to anyone else to death. But Sulfurix or Demonix, well, he could possess these always for the fireballs, such as if he's pyrokinesis, to petrifying spell, potion creation, manipulation, and that's exactly how he uses his power, and also the great strength, but not of himself by his worst in entire broke. But sometimes for Kato, he's about to win anyway. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the next video. Please subscribe, and I hope you enjoy for the next video. For this point, please don't forget to click the bell notification on, and I'll see you next time for over the next episodes of the Crossover Battles.